Welcome into the third edition of Raw Takes and Company. It's Andrew Hody, joined by Matthias Sandahar and Jake Malensic for the third time, going over all the latest sports highlights and news like we do every Thursday. Hope you're having a great day, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. If you like our show, check us out on social media. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Raw Takes and Company, or Raw Takes and Co. is our username on both those platforms. Or you can follow us individually. You'll find our usernames around our names on the Zoom screen you see here. So thank you very much for tuning in. It's Raw Takes and Company here. All right, let's get things started, guys. First things first, before we get going to the news, how are you both today?
Go ahead, Jake.
I'm fine. It's very cold outside, and I'm not a fan.
It is cold outside, and I'm also not a fan of it either. I don't think my dog's a fan of it. You might hear him in the background. But what about you,
So we gotta warm that guy up.
Matt?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Still at my workplace. I am outside a lot, so when it was torrentially downpouring today when this episode comes out, um yeah, it was not fun last Thursday when it was just a downpour and I forgot my jacket. So,
Oh
yeah,
boy.
just going through that, but other than that, we'll talk about a lot more of how I'm actually feeling, but yeah.
Well, I think we're all feeling a lot about a lot right now. So we're going to get right to the sports news. And we got to start off with probably what I think is the biggest NFL highlight this week. And it wasn't even that the game was a highlight here, but this was an NFL owner doing, well, I shouldn't say doing, but saying something I never thought an NFL owner would ever say. Okay. Right off the gates, Woody Johnson came out in this video, and I know Jake has the source. Who was it again, Jake?
I believe it was Newsweek was who I saw posted it.
I believe
Okay,
so.
Or
so we'll
Bleacher
go with
Report
Newsweek.
posted it and tagged Newsweek. That's where I saw it.
Okay, so yeah, Woody Johnson came out and essentially was putting a lot of the blame onto Jets quarterback Justin Fields to their 0-7 start right now. Not as much Aaron Glenn. I think there's a lot of temperatures going on in New York as to who to really blame right now. It's an absolute mess with the Jets. I think there is plenty of blame to go around, but I'm going to wait. I want to hear what you guys thought about this quote. And Aaron Glenn did come out and respond and pretty much defended Woody Johnson's comment in terms of what he was saying, but also said to the reporter who asked him the question that, that doesn't necessarily mean he was saying Justin Fields was the issue directly or was a problem, from what I can gather. What do you guys think?
Well, I think it's important to. I'm going to just add some context that I saw
Okay.
updated today before we go. Justin Fields had come out and said he doesn't have a very good relationship or none at all with Woody Johnson. So to me, that adds just more insane. You're the starting quarterback, or well, what were the starting quarterback? I'd like to believe that you're supposed to be in lockstep with coach,
Yeah.
GM, owner as the starting quarterback. And that not being the case is A, interesting, and B, concerning. I mean, okay, you're already 0-7, so you have a lot to be mad about. But if I was a Jets fan, I'd be like, what is going on?
All right, Matthias, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, for the Jets, um, this is just a horrible scenario overall. Just overall, just when it comes to, like you said, Jake, a starting quarterback and not having a good relationship um with the owner, and the owner, like, one of the words that stood out to me was when he said the ratings, and that was like an immediate callback to me. That was a callback when it was rumored that his sons would give him advice by using Madden ratings of who to trade for. And, like, if anything, I just found that more funny than anything. And I was like, wow, this is insane. And yeah, Justin Fields is, I'm a huge Justin Fields fan, but I also recognize he's not the quarterback of the future for the Jets. But at the same time, when you have no O line, when you have receivers that are on and off, it's, you can't really blame it on one person, in which Woody Johnson made it sound like, while Aaron Glenn sounded like he was trying to cover it up.
I agree with that, Matthias, and what you said at the end there. For me personally, I think the jury is now officially out on Justin Fields. He's not a great NFL starting quarterback. I think that's really what it comes down to. And before we move on, I just wanted to chime in and say Even though I was not high on Aaron Glenn getting the coaching job with the New York Jets, I still think there's potential there because we've seen their defense really step up lately. Their defense was the problem at the beginning of the year, and their defense has stepped up, and their offense was really hot actually at the beginning of the year, and it's kind of fallen back down. If you remember the game against Tampa Bay, their offense was on fire with Tyrod Taylor starting. So that's something I think the Jets may be able to look at here as we move forward with some of the games of the week. As we have Matthias back here. Hello again, Matthias. I know we had some
Hello,
technical
sorry.
issues with the camera there, but we were able to get it back going on. So, all right, let's get going now to our picks this week for some of the NFL games. I believe, Matthias, you had the first one. The floor is yours for Pittsburgh versus the Cincinnati Bengals. I know the Steelers are your team. Go ahead, my friend.
So, Pittsburgh versus Cincinnati. So, if you guys watched the podcast last week, take everything that I said about the Tampa Bay and Lions game and just move it over to what happened with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. It became an absolute shootout. Both teams just reverted to 2012. We were talking about 2007. They just took it 5 years later, and it was insane. Like Joe Flacco was like, "Oh, this is such an easy job. All I need to do is look right, find Jamar Chase, throw it to him, and magic happens." While like on the other side, Aaron Rodgers, that was probably one of his best games as a Steeler, in my opinion. And we were talking about in our group chat, Pat Fryermuth, I was complaining that he should have been used a lot more. And then he immediately scored a touchdown. And like both of these teams are so odd. And I just want to know what you guys think about both of these teams.
I'll go ahead and say that I think I will take credit from the fact that Cincinnati they got the win. I know I changed my vote last week, like in the middle of the podcast. I was like, you know what, Steelers, this feels like a game the Bengals will win. So I'd like to kind of take note of that. I just had some weird feeling about the Bengals offense. And I think we should start to talk about Jamar Chase in a bigger light because Jamar Chase was the full force of the Cincinnati Bengals that day. Yeah, they got the running game going. Yeah, their defense was decent, but not all the way great, letting Pat Fryermuth get some of those points off. Joe Flacco being a big impact. Of course, they're letting Joe Flacco run a draw play for crying out loud. I mean, that was just insane. But to me, this game really spoke a lot about Jamar Chase. And in my opinion, he is the best wide receiver in football right now because he is single-handedly carrying the Cincinnati Bengals. Go ahead, Jake.
He had 16 for 161 and a touchdown. And I think he was targeted 20 times. So, like, kind of just what Matthias said, like, just throw him the ball. That's all you need to do. And, like, it was I think what people were talking about when they had Jake Browning was just throw one the ball and you should be fine. And he wasn't doing that. And it was like, when are they going to trade for a quarterback who understands that? And lo and behold, they get Joe Flacco in game number one. He doesn't even know the playbook. And he just chucks it up near Jamar Chase and it works. Shocking, I know.
Crazy.
I think Joe Flacco just has a habit of getting off the couch or getting off another football team and coming to another system and just playing football, at least in the AFC North. We didn't see that anywhere else. But so far, any AFC North team he's played for, he finds a way, man. I think we got to give
Loves
him
the cold, I guess.
He's
He
he's
plays
one
well the
team
cold.
away from a bingo card.
He grew up in the North anyway. I think, where was it? Delaware, I think he went to college, if I call correctly.
Delaware, yeah.
Yeah, so he played in the North his whole life. He knows what the weather's like here. And maybe that's a part of the reason he's had so much success with AFC North teams. All right, Jake, you have the floor for the Colts and the Chargers. And the Colts are one of your teams, my friend. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just happy that nobody can talk about my Colts being frauds anymore. Because I think we're finally, I was on your guys' boat. Like, I was not a believer in these guys because I still cannot, for the life of me, understand how the Colts continue to win games with no defensive line or no pass rush from the edges and nobody at corner, but they just continue to magically win games. Um, they found something in Daniel Jones that nobody else has been able to find. And this was just like such a complete game from them all the way around. Like, I don't think it was as close as the score would say. They kind of just were at one point just kind of letting the Chargers score because they didn't care. Jonathan Taylor could win the MVP. Like he's not going to win the MVP, but like if you gave him a vote, I wouldn't be surprised. He leads the league in rushing and in touchdowns. The Colts are just awesome. They just play a really fun brand of football right now. And it's not what I would have expected from this team going into the season, but I think we can finally just like say this team is for real. They play really hard. They surprisingly are well coached and they've got skill position players that are really making a difference now. I'll leave the floor to you.
You can go
Yeah,
first, Matthias.
man, like I just want like just I did not think the Colts were frauds. I just didn't know what to think of them. Like it's like they're not frauds. Are they contenders yet? And like I was like leaning on the fence even last week when I picked them over the Chargers of like, okay, maybe they're contenders. I'll play into it for a bit. And they won again. And it's like I don't understand. They don't have like the undefeated curse because they already lost earlier in the season. And it's like I don't know what's going on with this team. Like they're playing hard. They're playing the way they are. I mean, the way they have to, which is complementary football. Which, like you said, Jonathan Taylor should be looked at more as an MVP if it wasn't a quarterback race.
And to kind of close it off, I think I need to eat my words about what I've been saying about the Colts being frauds. I think they're the real deal at this point. I'm losing faith in the Jacksonville Jaguars. I had a lot of faith in, and the Houston Texans are showing me nothing. I don't know who else in this division is really. The Colts already have such a head start. I don't know if the Jags or the Texans can catch up at this point. And you're absolutely right about the things you said about Jonathan Taylor being an MVP candidate. But I also want to throw in Pittman has been a phenomenal receiver this year and definitely the best target that Daniel Jones has had. All right, let's move on here and discuss the Browns and the Dolphins. My first game here, obviously. Being that Browns Dolphins fan, I'm looking at both of these teams. I'm looking at which coach is getting fired this week. Obviously, it looked like it was going to be McDaniel. It wasn't McDaniel. The Dolphins are terrible. I'm sorry. They're one of the worst teams in football. They're probably second worst to the Jets at this point. Mike McDaniel needs to go. I will emphasize that. It looks like it's going to be more of an end of season decision, but at this point, I still feel like if you get an interim guy in there, see what he could do with Tua and this kind of talent. Obviously, I think the jury's out on Tua at this point too. He's not the quarterback I believe can take you on deep playoff runs if you're the Miami Dolphins. But I think this game too, what it speaks for the Cleveland Browns is the defense really stepped up again this week. I really think the defense won them this game. I think Kevin Stefanski coached a really good game. I think, the talks about him being on the hot seat and stuff, as fair as they are, I still have this feeling that Kevin Stefanski could figure things out, and I think this game kind of showed it. Jim Schwartz in the defense, I think, deserve a ton of credit, obviously, overall. And I want to give some props to Dylan Gabriel. He didn't play a great game, but he doesn't turn the ball over. And that's something Kevin Stefanski loves. I'm not so sure you would see that out of Shedeur Sanders. So because of that one factor, I think you got to give Dylan Gabriel some more time. I'm going to leave the floor open to you guys on your thoughts on this game, these two teams, and what should take place.
Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch as much of this one as I would have liked, but from all of the things I saw, it looked like the Browns just kind of took control. It's a very rare circumstance where the Browns just kind of dominate from start to finish. But it was nice to see. And I do agree with what you said about Stefanski. For somebody who has been so out on him this season, I thought he had the guys ready. I thought his game plan was pretty good. His game plan was I'm going to give the football to my best player on offense, and I'm going to let him cook. And he let him cook for 3 touchdowns on the ground. And I'm not going to put my quarterback in precarious situations like Mike McDaniel did to lead him to 3 interceptions. I'm going to put him in screen passes, dump it off to my talent, and he didn't turn the ball over to his credit. And the team looked more ready to play than I have ever seen them look. And I don't know if that's because the Dolphins weren't ready or if the Browns were. But Mike McDaniel, I can't believe he still has a job.
All right, before we move on, any thoughts, Matthias?
No, we could just move on to the next one.
All right, understood. But before I move on, I did want to just chime in and say Quinshon Judkins is so far a hit from Andrew Berry. All right, let's move on for Matthias and the Packers-Cardinals game.
So, back-to-back teams that I have where it's one was a very heavy favorite to win, and then it required a comeback. The difference is, while the Pittsburgh Steelers lost in their comeback, the Packers won. And I don't know what to think about the Packers anymore. They only have one loss and a tie, but other than that, like, they played very solid-ish football, but then they let themselves lose to the Browns and almost lose to the Cardinals. I don't know. It feels like fraud, but they're not losing yet. So yeah, Andrew, if you have thoughts, we'll start with you. Like, how do you feel about the Packers? Like, are they contenders? Are they just like what is a contender in this season? But right now, how do you feel that the Packers are contenders?
It's hard for me to believe that the Detroit Lions lost to the Packers. In all honesty, how did
Yeah.
they lose to the Packers? It's week one of the season. I think that's what it is. And division games are weird. Um, I don't trust the Packers at all. I like Jordan Love a lot. Jordan Love won that game for the Browns a few weeks ago. They had no business losing that game whatsoever. Jordan Love looked really good in the Cincinnati game, but honestly, the Packers had no business winning that game either because Cincinnati almost came back and won it. So, and the Dallas game, I'm sorry, that the Packers defense has gotten all this hype. They were awful in that game. Dak Prescott's been phenomenal, and I will give him credit there. The Dallas offense looks really good, but I haven't seen the Dallas offense do well against good opponents, and I don't consider the Commanders tough right now based on how they've played. So that's a story for later. My opinion, I don't trust the Packers one bit. I think the Detroit Lions are going to end up winning the NFC North again in the long haul. I think the Packers are still going to be a bubble playoff team, but there's no reason to trust this team. There's nothing consistent about them, and they lost to the Browns in an embarrassing way. How do you do that if you consider yourself a contender? That's a bad football team. Even though they beat the Dolphins this week, the Dolphins are a worse football team. Jake, I'll leave you some time there. My bad.
I think you guys really covered it. To be a good team, you can't play down to the competition of your opponent, and that's what the Packers do pretty much every single time they step on the field. And it cost them once, and it almost cost them again, and it's going to cost them in the future. When they lose to the Bears in Chicago, nobody's going to be surprised.
I wouldn't argue that. I think that's a great point. And before we move on here, I think I should just say that Detroit was their best game this season. Like, that's really all I could say.
It's weird.
It is really weird. All right. Let's move on to Jake. His next game is the Lions and the Buccaneers.
I really like the Lions. I really, really like the Lions. And I was worried about them after week one, like we had literally just talked about 30 seconds ago. But man, I really like the Lions. I really like Dan Campbell, but I also really like Kelvin Shepard, their defensive coordinator. Every time I see him on the sideline, he is screaming at somebody, he is hyping up the defense, and he's got first of all, a defensive coordinator with dreads is awesome. Like you just can't beat that. That's so much aura, as the kids would say. Because but he brings so much to this team. It's so much fun to watch. And to lose both of your coordinators, to like replace Aaron Glenn with a guy who's been just as good or if not better than Aaron Glenn is awesome. I'm watching Rock Yassin be a number one corner in the NFL, and I never believed that was ever going to happen. And it's just the Lions they just coach so well. Everybody's rowing in the same direction, and they have been really since Dan Campbell got there. So I think we give Dan Campbell a lot of credit. I don't know that we give him enough for what he's actually meant. Because everybody talked about, oh, it's Ben Johnson and it's Aaron Glenn and this and that, and loses them both, and they're still awesome. He is a phenomenal head coach, and I really like the Lions. Matthias, I'll go to you first if you have anything else. The Bucks are just injured, by the way. Don't worry about them.
I think it is such an ironic twist when we looked at this game and it was like, okay, well, Baker with almost no receivers last time pulled off an MVP performance, and the Lions have no secondary. This should be a high scoring game. And I was right on one of the two teams. Like the Lions, they couldn't stop scoring. Like Jahmyr Gibbs looked like an absolute monster, but on the other side, the no wide receivers finally caught up with the Buccaneers, and they just couldn't do anything. And even Emeka Egbuka played injured, and it's so unfortunate. I think the biggest story coming out of this is the Mike Evans injury. I think that outside of a very underrated and storied career, just hinders the Buccaneers season so much.
And before we move on to the next game, I did want to chime in and say I agree with Jake. I wouldn't worry too much about the Bucks, but I would worry about how far they could make it in the playoffs. I'm not so sure that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a team that's going to make it out of the divisional round, even if they get there. So I have high questions if they can win a playoff game at this point, which I think is kind of the Bucks' goal this season. So I'm just going to chime that in. That's the only thing that concerns me about them. I think everything you said about Detroit is 100% spot on and can't agree with you more. And I think Aaron Glenn has done a worse job, in my opinion, with the defense and now we see the defense fully healthy. But we could talk about that with the Jets another day. And I'm still rooting for Aaron Glenn. I actually like his personality a lot, but yada yada yada. That's the Jets, right? But it is my turn to do my game next. So let's go to the Denver Broncos and the New York Giants. For me, this was the game of the weekend, really, just because of kind of the story behind it. I mean, you're down 26-8, and you came all the way back to beat a New York Giants team that I think is a lot better now that Jackson Dart's under center. But, and yeah, they're not great, but at the same time, wow. I mean, to me, this was like a wow game in terms of Bo Nix because I was not a believer in Bo Nix in the draft. He has proven me wrong time and time again, and I need to finally admit how wrong I am there. And the Denver Broncos defense was locked down in the fourth quarter. They were pretty bad actually throughout most of this game, probably the worst they were all season. But the Broncos defense locked in. This might be one of the best defenses in the NFL. And they're loaded with talent. They're well coached with Sean Payton there. I'm still stunned by how the Broncos won this game, and I don't want to play them if I'm anybody in the NFL. In all honesty, I don't even know if I'm Kansas City. I want to play this team right now. I'm scared of the Denver Broncos, and even though the Giants, I think, showed some of their vulnerabilities, the Giants didn't get the job done. The Denver Broncos did. I'm going to leave the floor open.
Dice, you can go.
Somehow, this was the most Giants game I've seen since. This is the most Giants and the most Broncos game that I've seen since last season. Like, both of these teams just have the absolute worst and best luck, just period. Like, just being down so much, and then, like, for the Broncos side, being down so much, and then coming back, but then coming back in the way of it's still sloppy. Jackson Dart caused it. I mean, through an interception. There was crucial defensive pass interferences, and just so much happened in that game. So many missed kicks. Like, the only reason why the Broncos won was because the Giants kept missing kicks. That's such a New York Giants way to lose. Because, like, they kept scoring. They just kept missing the extra kicks. And it's just like, awesome. This is the Broncos.
One other thing I think we should chime on, and Jake, I want to leave you time too if you have anything. But
No, you're good.
think about this with the Denver Broncos in this game here. If I could find it. But it was an unreal statistic.
Well, they had 0 points in the
Yeah.
first 3 quarters.
No.
That's all you really need to know, I think.
I have to look up the exact numbers because I don't want to say
It was
wrong here.
0, 0, 0,
Yeah.
33.
33.
Unbelievable. I've
Here's
never
what it
seen
was.
anything like that in my life.
Demaryius Thomas, who passed away at age 33.
yes.
Oh.
Ring of Fame induction game. Okay? Scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. And I just wanted to make sure I had the facts and figures right before I said this on the podcast. Scored 33 points in the fourth quarter, 2 8-point drives. 88, obviously, was his number. Defense recorded 33 solo tackles, started game-winning drive with 33 seconds left. Is that not a coincidence or what? All 33 points in the fourth quarter. I don't know if I've ever seen a 33-point quarter in an NFL game in years. I can't recall the last time I've seen it. But that was dumb.
Sometimes the football gods just decide
Hmm.
that you need to win on a certain day. And when you're honoring one of your greats, you just win. It's just how it goes sometimes.
That's incredible and a great way to honor his legacy and spirit. And yeah, he was with them, in all honesty. I mean,
Happens.
I don't know how else to explain it, but that was an unreal line of statistics, in my opinion. And it all happened on Sunday. So, what a superstitious game with all that, and unreal. It was an unreal game. And props to the Denver Broncos. They have definitely earned my respect. And I should have earned my respect last season. I was doubtful, but now I'm all in on what Denver is selling. Let's move on to the next game here. We have Matthias and the Atlanta Falcons, San Francisco 49ers.
So I was wrong again. Um, but man, like the whole NFL confuses me because I'm like, what are the Falcons? And I could say that for like half the league. Um, because the Falcons, they played fun, and then the 49ers have almost nobody left, but the one person, like how we were joking that the Bengals defense is just one player, the 49ers offense is just one player, and Christian McCaffrey is still winning them games. Like George Kittle coming back helped the run blocking more than it did helping the receiving because they're like, okay, now we know where to put our big tight end so we could give the ball to our star. And I'm I'm kind of done rooting against, not that I've been rooting against the Niners, but I'm kind of done doubting them. I think they're just going to be a contender no matter who is behind at center or who is playing defense. As long as they have Christian McCaffrey, they have a way. So that's great coaching by Kyle Shanahan, but I think that they're contenders. Would they win the Super Bowl with this motley crew? Maybe. I don't know. But like they're going to go far this year. Um Jake, I'll start with you. How do you feel with like the 49ers because we were both on the same side with the Falcons of like the 49ers are injured so Falcons should win and 49ers pulled through anyways.
I think you hit the nail on the head from the coaching standpoint. Um, I think this season and doing a podcast has made me realize just how important coaching really is. You know, you can't just look at talent on a football field sometimes and see what happens. Games are played with talent, but games are also played with good coaching, especially in this league. And Robert Saleh is an awesome defensive coordinator. I know it didn't work out as a head coach, but he's a really damn good defensive coordinator, and that matters. Kyle Shanahan is a really good head coach, and that matters. And those things showed. So, yeah, I think they are contenders because if they have that dude at head coach and that guy at DC, all they've done is win, and that's what they can have continued to do.
Has a coach ever won a Super Bowl MVP?
Kyle Shanahan could be the first.
I could see it.
I'm just happy San Francisco was right because when we get to the picks here in just a second, it kept me alive for this week's picks, at least trying to catch up. We are moving on to our NFL picks for week 8, but we got to reflect on week 7 a little bit. And I guess I should say, I made this spreadsheet. I enjoyed making the spreadsheet and putting all the stats in, but I'll tell you what, my picks were disappointing. I did get Cincinnati right over Pittsburgh. I'm not going to argue that, and I was happy when that happened, but the rest of my picks were a complete disaster. And props to Jake. He's currently picking dinner, and I'm paying for it. And
Get
Matthias
ready to learn
covered
pancakes for
second
dinner,
place.
boys. Cracker Barrel's calling.
Cracker Barrel pancakes so far, it looks like it is. I guess we'll find out at the end of the season. There's still a lot of football to go, though. It's just 1 week, so we got to get to our picks for this week, right? So
Let's
here's
do
the
it.
spreadsheet again. There's our totals. We're going to go right from the get-go. But first, we got to talk about, obviously, tonight's game between the Vikings and the Chargers. So, obviously, the Chargers coming into this game, one game above 500 now. Things have kind of fizzled out for them. I was really high on the Chargers to begin the year, and it looks like their injuries are really starting to add up. But you can't really necessarily say the Vikings aren't in that same boat right now. The Vikings, I think, are worse than the Chargers, and I don't think they're the better team than the Chargers overall. But this game to me feels like a pick 'em. So I'm going to leave the floor open and get your guys' thoughts on this game in particular, because to me, this isn't even really one of those most interesting Thursday night games. But seeing how Thursday nights have gone the last couple of weeks, I wouldn't be surprised if this game is a banger. What do you guys think?
I think it's gonna be a banger.
You do?
I think
I
it's a
just
banger.
think I don't know. I would if the Chargers were fully healthy. I if either one of these two teams were fully healthy, I would think differently. It's funny. If Minnesota had all of their guys, I think they're better. And if LA had all of their guys, they would be better. How do I want to word this? Full health Minnesota would be better than not full health LA, and full health LA would be better than not full health Minnesota. But instead, neither one of them are at full health, so it actually makes it interesting. That's where I was trying to get to. Point being, if we had McCarthy and not Wentz, and we had the Chargers had some players on their offensive line not hurt, like the things would be very different in this game. That being said, I think the Chargers are going to win because I think that they're better overall right now where things land. But I think this game is really weird because this could have actually been a way better game than it's like this could have been a much more intriguing game than it actually is. But I think we're actually going to get the best version of the game because of the injuries. And that was a lot of word salad to say nothing. I'll go to Matthias.
So for this game, I'm the same with Jake, but the opposite result. I think that Minnesota is going to win this. Carson Wentz had a throwback game along with everybody else last week, but I think he should have enough to probably win this game. If they had JJ McCarthy, I'd be significantly more higher on them. But even with Carson Wentz, I think this is going to be a crazy game. Minnesota wins it. That's all I got.
I'm going to take the Chargers as well. I agree with Jake on everything he said. I think I pretty much summed up why I'm picking the Chargers too when I opened this segment. So for me, I'm going to go to the Chargers. That's our first pick for the week and the Thursday game of tonight. So LA Chargers hosting the Minnesota Vikings. Going to be a fun one. We'll have to see who pulls out on top. Jake, currently, though, in our standings for who's buying dinner and who's picking dinner, is in front. An LA Chargers win will extend his lead, but Minnesota winning will get Matthias tied up in the race here. So, all right, let's move on to one sentence, one pick. Let's go ahead through all these games and we'll give our quick thoughts. All right, I'll start with you, Jake. We'll go to you first on these. How about Miami and Atlanta?
Well, I said earlier in the podcast that I was out on Atlanta, but I'm not picking the Dolphins, so go Falcons. Taking Atlanta.
Matthias.
Atlanta, because they don't have Tua.
I'm also going the Falcons because they don't have Tua, and the Dolphins are just terrible. They need to fire Mike McDaniel. This may be the game he gets fired. It may be. Who knows? I doubt it at this point.
If he didn't get fired after the last one,
true. I don't know. I don't know. All right, one sentence, one pick. Let's go to Jake. Chicago at Baltimore. Go ahead.
Baltimore. Lamar Jackson is better than anybody that the Bears can throw at.
I haven't actually checked on the news. Is he back yet?
He's practicing this week.
He should
Okay.
be.
So I'm going to go with he's playing. If he's not, can I change my pick?
Once it's in the spreadsheet, it can't be changed unless the podcast is still going on. This is your
Okay,
last
well,
pick.
go Tyler Huntley if I need, but I think Lamar's going to be back. Give me the Ravens.
All right, go ahead, Matthias.
Bears, they're playing hot.
That's huge. You keep flip-flopping there, bud. Love it.
Yeah,
I'm picking the Bears too. The Bears are playing hot. But to me, like, I'm kind of with Jake on if Lamar Jackson's back, that's going to significantly help the Ravens.
Dirty birds.
But I mean, the Ravens are 1-5. I mean, I don't know if they could really save their season at this point. It's going to take a lot. Even with Lamar Jackson healthy, that's not going to save how bad that defense is.
So like here's the thing with it. Like, I am very high on Lamar Jackson, but being thrown into a game like this, yes, they are at home, but I don't know. The Bears have been playing really well. I don't think they are real, but I think against a beat up Baltimore team, relying on a coming back from injury Lamar Jackson, I think they should have it. So it's not be flip flopping, even though it sounds like it.
He's got
All
me.
right.
He's got me.
I essentially agree with Matthias' summary, though. It's essentially saying what I said a little bit better, to be honest with you. All right, Buffalo at Carolina. Let's go to you, Jake.
I'm taking my keep pounding Carolina Panthers
They are 4 and
because
3. They are 4 and 3.
they're playing hot, and Andy Dalton's going to come out, I think, starting this week, and he's going to sling it against a Bills defense that we don't like on this podcast. We do not like the Bills. I'm taking Carolina at home.
Matthias gets one thing right, and all of a sudden we don't like the Bills' defense. All right, Matthias,
Yeah,
go.
Buffalo. I don't have a sentence, man. My sentence is please.
We got to block Jake off. I'm going Buffalo, too. If Jake's going to win dinner, we got to figure out ways to stop him. So we got to pick some different games than he picks, right?
Hey, you pick who you think's going to win. Don't try and just pick opposite me.
No, that's
crazy.
Well, we also got to block you off so we can catch up to you. You have a
That's
commanding
fine.
lead. You have a
Keep pounding, baby. Red
9
rifle.
to 7 lead right now.
Do it for me.
By the way, I just want to make sure people see it. When there's a yes or a no, when we look at that, that's if the pick was right or wrong. If you want
Look at all those Y's, baby. Not even a good week.
And the column obviously is who picked what. So me, the first column, Matthias, the second, and the third column is Jake. If you had any questions, I don't think I really explained that well at the beginning. Let's go Jets, Cincinnati, Mr. Malencic.
Cincinnati, Joe Flacco revenge game.
I don't know what he has against the Jets, but okay. What's up, Matthias?
I used to play for the Jets. Beat the Browns when he was on the Jets once.
Yep. Cincinnati, number 1.
Number 1.
Uno.
Also taking the Bengals, I think, for obvious reasons. As I mentioned before.
I take my first time out.
First time out from Jake Malencic.
I just need, there's like 4 people who are going to get this reference. Me and Jamar Chase in a universe have the same nickname, and that's so cool.
One take, Jake?
No, Uno. And I think there's like 4 people who've ever called, like who know the people who call me that, but I just wanted to put that out there. That's my timeout. I have the same nickname as Jamar Chase. Obviously, I'm the best receiver in this Zoom call, and he's the best receiver in the NFL. So we're one of them.
What evidence do we have that you're the best receiver in this Zoom call?
Okay, hear me.
Your backyard. That one time.
He's probably the fastest of the 3 of us. I won't argue that.
When we played in your backyard that one time.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Evidence.
I forgot about experimental.
Tripped over a stick and caught the ball.
How could I forget about experimental?
Multiple dots to him that game.
Matthias was throwing heaters.
All right, let's move on to the 49ers and the Texans. Jake, go ahead.
I'm going to take San Francisco. We've praised the Niners this whole pod. I'm going San Francisco.
That's high. It's your turn.
San Francisco, in McCaffrey we trust.
In McCaffrey we trust indeed. I can't take the Texans, especially after last week. I can't take them again. All right. Browns, Patriots. Is there going to be an upset, Jake?
Shout out to my brother taking the Patriots. He's going to be happy about it. He's been glazing Drake May for the last week. All he does is text me about him, and it makes me so angry. I know you're listening, Nate. That was for you, buddy.
I'm going to make your brother happy. New England, the only sentence, Drake May.
All right. I'm not even going to say a sentence. New England. New York Giants to Philadelphia Eagles. Already a quick rematch between these two. Jake, go ahead.
Philly, because they won't lose to the Giants twice.
Matthias.
Man, I was going to pick the Phillies. I'm going to pick the Phillies anyways.
The Eagles?
Yeah, my bad.
Baseball!
I never knew Bryce Harper played quarterback.
Bet he could.
Is Jalen Hurts a pitcher?
Bet he could.
He would probably pitch it to the wrong catcher.
After last week, I learned to not trust the Giants, so I'm taking Philly as well. We got a lot of the same picks here today.
All right,
Tampa Bay at New Orleans. I don't know if there's much to say about this one, Jake, but you might have something.
No, Tampa Bay. Let bake.
Go ahead, Matthias.
Baker's baking, Tampa Bay.
Baker didn't bake last week. That was his worst game of the season. But yeah, I'm taking Tampa Bay. They're a lot better than
Or
anything
MVP.
the New Orleans Saints have thrown at us this year.
Ooh.
All right, go ahead. Let's go to Dallas at Denver. We'll start off with one take, Jake.
Denver Broncos. Better defense, the same offense. Matthias is mad. Hey, you better get. We're gonna get some maple syrup. We're gonna get some pancakes. We're gonna get some eggs. It's gonna be
Man,
great. Go Broncos, baby.
like I'm also going Denver.
It's a long season, bro. We got plenty of time.
I'm also taking the Broncos. I don't know. Like last week was insane. What a game that was. I don't know how you cannot take the Broncos at this
Well,
point.
GG's guys.
They're I'm gonna zoom out a little bit so we can see everything better here. All right, Tennessee, Indy. All right, let's start with you, Jake.
Indianapolis. JT for MVP.
What's highest?
Indiana Jones, greater than Tennessee.
I don't I don't believe in the Titans at all. It could be
This
one
is
of
a
those
good
weird
one.
divisional games though, but I can't pick the Titans. They fired a coach. Cam Ward's a rookie quarterback who I still believe in, but that roster stinks. And I don't see them beating the Colts. I can't see it happen. All right, we got a lot of the same picks this week, guys. This might be an even week. I guess we'll find out as the weeks go on when things start to change a little bit. But this one maybe will have some difference in opinion. Green Bay at Pittsburgh. Uh, let's start with you, Jake.
Uh, uh, Pittsburgh at home, I think. Aaron Rodgers revenge game. I'm gonna take the Steelers. I don't want to. I took the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Bengals. That sucks.
And not the
And
yeah,
not the
and not the
Browns.
Browns.
That sucks.
All right, Matthias.
Um, Steelers are coming off a loss. Aaron Rodgers is angry. Pittsburgh wins.
Part of me says you're absolutely right, but part of me is like, there's got to be a difference of opinion here somewhere, right? I'm taking the
That's fine.
Packers to win.
I mean, the
Even
difference
though
of
I don't
opinion
trust the
in Mike
Packers,
Parsons. Like,
even though I don't trust the Packers, I feel like we still don't know who the Steelers are yet. I feel like we know who the Packers are
do
to a
we?
degree.
I don't think we know who the Packers are. I have no clue who the Packers are.
I have no
You know what?
clue. Like half of these teams are.
I want to know what the Packers are.
Yeah. Well, the Bills lost to the Falcons, and now we don't even know what the Falcons are. You know what? Because of Aaron Rodgers and because it's a revenge game, I'm going to change mine back to the Steelers. I think, looking at history, when a quarterback goes up against his former team, usually they win. I think the only one I could think of so far that didn't win was Baker Mayfield when he faced the Browns a few years back. I just noticed Justin Fields when he faced the Steelers this year, I guess too. But like, I'm talking about Hall of Fame greats. With all due respect to Baker Mayfield, we don't know that yet. So,
Shots fired.
I'm taking the Steelers. I'm taking.
All right.
Steelers. I'm gonna change. All right, Jake. Last game of the week: Washington at Kansas City.
I'm gonna take the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, it looks like this week's gonna be a very even week, Matthias.
My sentence is
yes.
Life of a Showgirl for Album of the Year.
All right.
I say
Jaden Daniels is out, by the way.
Okay,
I want all of that.
never
I want that to
mind.
be out so that it's
Oh
fair.
yeah.
Because
Marcus Mariota is starting quarterback.
it would be really funny if I said Washington for Super Mariota to make an appearance, but yeah. Kansas City, my one sentence, Rashidi Rice is back.
I can't disagree with you guys at all. Looks like, you know what? From the Buffalo game onward, we have exactly the same picks this week. So it looks like it's going to be another week that favors keeping Jake in the lead. Let's start there.
I don't know. You guys got to root like heck for the Bears and the Bills.
Yeah, we do. And the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills.
The Bears, the Bills, and Matthias Esser from Minnesota.
I think the Bears could do it, though. It's just
I think the Bears could do it too.
Yeah, I
I
don't
do
know.
feel good about it. I'm
I'm like,
just like,
it's
This
not
is
that
a
I'm
week
high
of
on the
similar
Bears,
picks,
it's
that's
that I'm
for
low
sure.
on the Ravens. And then I'll just leave it at that.
With all the
here's
difference in opinion we had last week, this is actually kind of stunning. But like these games, I feel like are easy pick'ems.
I'll say this: if Carolina beats Buffalo, I'm winning the whole thing. So I just want that to be out there.
If
Because if I
Granted,
hit
Carolina
that, it's over.
if
there's still
Carolina beats
9 weeks
Buffalo, we'll
left
go
of the
to Cracker Barrel
season.
tomorrow.
If I
Well,
hit that,
10,
it's
excuse me.
over. That's my declaration.
There's
Because
still
I'm not
10.
losing after that.
There's still 10 weeks left of the season.
No, 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 no.
There's still 10 weeks left of the season, Jake. All right, but that's our picks for this week. Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? Let us know in the comments. Let us know on one of the reels if you're watching this on a reel. Reach out to us directly on our social media pages. We want to hear from you. We want to hear if we're right, if we're wrong. If you think Andrew's flat out wrong and you just want to admit it, that's totally fine. I'm willing to hear your opinion on it. If you're willing to say Jake is wrong too, then go ahead. Jake's currently in the lead though, so he's currently the psychic of these games right now. And if Carolina beats Buffalo, I will say Jake might actually have no excuse but to win the whole thing at this point. Like I'm
At
expecting him to win.
Malensic_J on Twitter. Let me know why Carolina is going to beat Buffalo this week in one sentence of your own. And why is it Andy Dalton?
And why is it Andy Dalton? Oh man, if
40-year-old
Bryce
Red
Young
Rifle.
was playing, I'd probably say Carolina might actually have a chance. In all honesty, I might actually say Carolina has a chance.
How old is Andy Dalton these days?
Andy
Oh,
Dalton,
37.
37. Yeah, okay, he's in his 30s.
Same birthday as my dad. Not the same year, but the same birthday.
Oh wow.
Shout out to you, Andy.
All
Almost
righty.
another.
Well, that's going to be it for our picks this week. So we're going to move on to the National Basketball Association.
Oh, my favorite.
Let's
Yeah.
go. We're so back.
Yes, we are. Well, uh, we'll discuss right now. Opening night, I think, is the big thing to talk about before we talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers losing to the New York Knicks. SGA kind of went off for the Oklahoma City Thunder in their first game of the regular season. I don't want to say kind of went off. He went off pretty big. But I will say this Alperen Şengün, I think, was the real star in KD's debut, which is something I don't necessarily know is good for KD. But I think, nevertheless, the Rockets are still in really good position. They played a great game. It went into triple overtime. To me, none of this will matter until the postseason happens anyway. But at the same time, it's NBA opening season. First couple games on NBC, I thought the broadcasts were great. When I listened back to those broadcasts,
Awesome.
Rico did a great job calling that Oklahoma City Houston game. And Noah Eagle did a great job calling that Golden State LA game too. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about Houston and Oklahoma City. I think the Houston Rockets did a lot of good things, but to me, KD was underwhelming in this debut. SGA shined. I think Chad Holmgren put on a good show as well. Oklahoma City looks like they're going to pick up right where they left off, but still, there's a lot to be told in an 82 game season.
Matthias,
Is
you
it
can go
my turn?
first. You always go first
Okay.
for
So,
basketball.
when people say last night was a movie,
Mm-hmm.
this was the movie. Like, despite what you said about Kevin Durant, like, other than his 0 for 4 from 3, he was 9 for 16 on the field, 23 points. Yes, he got fouled out, but, like, it was on the most crucial play where he honestly had SGA locked up and then just Shea Gill just did that James Harden pump fake lean into the defender or the Dwayne Wade for my older heads out there. And like that foul won them the game. So like to me, this was a game where you look at it and you're like, both teams won because you showed that for the Rockets, you don't need Kevin Durant to be Kevin Durant to be good. I mean, to win games. Amen Thompson, no, Azure Thompson.
Amen, I think.
I think it's yeah. Amen Thompson did really good. Jabari Smith Jr. did really good. Steven Adams had a 13 rebound game. Alfred Şengün 39 points.
Jeez.
What else do you want? Like, did you win? Like, obviously you want the win, but like, you got Kevin Durant for no defense and all offense, and you got no defense and all offense from your entire team. For the Rockets, this is a win, even though you're 0-1. That's all. That's why I'll leave it at.
Any thoughts from you, Jake, before we move on?
Yeah, my thought was my casual NBA self declared the Houston Rockets as my number two team for this year. I'm a big Amen Thompson fan, so I'm just gonna root for that guy. I did not know that Şengün is the second coming of Jokic, so that's a big win for the Rockets that they have that guy. But yeah, I thought it was a fun game, and like you said, broadcast was good. All of it that I watched was entertaining. We'll see if I actually watch the NBA this year. Looking at probably not, but we'll see.
Making a fan.
I had fun on night one. I always have fun on night one, and then I'm out of it by like November.
Jimmy Butler went off, didn't he?
He did,
He did go
I
off.
think. I don't know. I didn't watch.
The
Jimmy
Butler
Butler
did
did
it.
go off for the Golden State Warriors, and it kind of ruined Luka Doncic's good night as the LA Lakers debuted against the Golden State Warriors. Golden State looks like they're going to be pretty good again this year. I'm still not so sure they're going to be as good as Oklahoma City or Houston, but granted, that's still yet to be seen. As I said, it's an 82 game season, so who knows? And then you really don't know till the playoffs anyway in the National Basketball Association. I don't really have much to say about this one. I think Luka Doncic did what you expect Luka Doncic to do. Don't think you're worried if you're a Lakers fan. I think you're just worried overall that the Lakers' recent dysfunction is just going to kind of contaminate the season like it has. And I think that's very possible. I don't think if you're a Golden State fan, though, you're worried at all. What do you think, guys?
So for the LA Lakers, I think the biggest thing when you look at the score of 119-109, which the Lakers had to do a run to make it 119-109. So it wasn't as close as the stats say. But if you just look at the end box score, my question would be, do you believe LeBron in his final season can contribute, can have a plus minus of plus 10? Because if he could make up for those 10 points, even add in one more for the lead, you're perfectly fine. Luka had a monstrous first game, other than his 2 for 10 from three, just 43 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists. And Austin Reeves, I think my take is that he's going to be like, I don't think there's a lot of big threes left in the NBA. I don't think the Lakers are a big three, but I think that Austin Reeves is probably the best third player on any team. Like when it comes to putting the ball in the basket, he was phenomenal last year, and it's only game one, but already 26 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. That's a great start.
Let me just have this on the record. You think Austin Reeves is better than Jay Will, better than Lou Dort, better than Jared Allen, better than Darius Garland, better than Evan Mobley? I mean, whoever you consider a two or a three. I'm just naming off players in the NBA right now that are considered twos and threes. You think
No,
he's
I said
that
that's why I
good?
said three, not twos. That's a different
Three.
category.
Okay. Okay.
That's a whole
Darius Garland, you can
podcast.
consider a
Yeah.
two, or I mean, that's the thing
That's
with
a
the
whole
NBA
pod.
now.
We can
It is.
we we cannot go
Yeah.
down that rabbit hole. That's a whole pod.
All
That's
right, to wrap things up, well, actually, let's talk about the Cavs before we move on here briefly, as they lost
Can
to
I
the New
just
York.
Go
Yeah.
ahead,
my
Jake.
one comment on the Warriors game is that the man with the best nickname in the NBA went off.
All right.
I knew he was going to get there.
The Cleveland Cavaliers losing to the New York Knicks 119 to 111. The game actually just wrapped up as we really recorded this one. So to me, I'm not that worried overall. I think these are the two best teams in the Eastern Conference. I think we're going to see that throughout the season, seeing how injured the Celtics are, seeing how the Milwaukee Bucks really don't have any answers outside of Giannis. Maybe Miles Turner helps them out. Indiana's pretty banged up now that they won't have Halliburton. Uh, the Magic could be better, I think. But to me, like, this was just a tease of what could be the Eastern Conference Finals. Even though the Cavs lost tonight, I'm not overall that worried. I think it is going to be a challenge, though, to face the Knicks, especially in a playoff series when it gets to that. But we still got 81 regular season games to go from this point forward. I'll leave the floor open. What do you guys think?
So for this game, I think the only thing that I care about, like same thing with the Lakers, I'm always like it's game one of the season, but with game one for the Lakers, it was okay, they did this without LeBron. For the Cavs, they did this without Garland, which I think Garland's the number two on the team. But like
Hunter
either way,
didn't play either, right?
say it again.
DeAndre Hunter didn't play either, did he?
Yeah, no, he didn't play either. So like
Yeah.
this is without two of our five starters, and we still pushed them to a 111, 119. And like Sam Merrill, he stepped up. Jarrett Allen had a bad-ish game, like, but still,
Doesn't
like
look
the
good.
Cavs, they look solid, and New York is always one of those teams that wants to beat you up in the paint. And Evan Mobley didn't allow it. Jarrett Allen, not so much. But this is going to be a fun series when it comes to the playoffs. But looking past there, we got to get through the regular season.
All right, we're gonna wrap the NBA up with this, as you mentioned. All right, just open floor here. Who do you guys think are going to be the best teams in the East and the West as the season gets going? We don't have to really go too deep into this. Let's just take 2 minutes to give some takes. I think the East is all Cavs, Knicks. I think the West is an open floor between Oklahoma City, Memphis, the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Clippers are a retirement home, so I won't even put them in the conversation. I'll keep defending that they're a retirement home because all their players are old. Uh, I don't think
Denver.
you could. Denver, yeah, Denver is in the mix. To me, the West is the better conference this year by far. I think you could say the East was the better conference a few years back, but outside of the Cavs and the Knicks, I mean, Milwaukee may be three right now. I don't know. Like, I really don't.
Orlando.
Orlando's up there too. I did say the Magic. So, who? Who's stepping up to the plate this year in the East? And who do you think are the teams to really, really watch in the West?
So I think I'm going to shorten the time because I feel like I've given you no time to talk, Jake. But
I
um,
have no thoughts.
fair enough. I think even though they're losing to the Bulls as this podcast, I mean, as the time of the podcast, they might win. I think the Detroit Pistons.
I didn't
I
think
don't
about the
think they're
Pistons.
winning the playoffs. I think that what we saw against them with the Knicks last year, they can build off of that. Cade Cunningham is really coming into his own, and he doesn't have all the pressures that other stars have because they get more media coverage than Detroit until Detroit does something. And yeah, I think they're going to be a huge step up. I am very terrified of the Magic. Um, but other than that, for the West, watch out for that Wimby
I
because
was gonna say
Yeah, I
the
didn't even
Spurs,
consider San
bro.
Antonio yet.
That was the only comment that I had was gonna be about the Spurs.
Yeah.
Because Wemby's a demon.
he's insane. Like I am afraid for the league.
All righty, we're going to move on to talk about some Major League Baseball. The World Series is coming up here. Uh, Jake, I have to say this. You know, Game 7 was a spectacle of the ALCS, and I got to get my glasses out here so I can read a little bit more about the stats. But Cal Raleigh, one home run, obviously did what he did all season, still wasn't enough. Julio Rodriguez had a home run as well. I mean, Josh Naylor batted in RBI. So many Guardians players, obviously, here in Northeast Ohio, are kind of saddened by some of what was going on. Big hits overall, though, from most of the people in the not the Dodgers, excuse me, the Mariners starting lineup. But the Blue Jays just went off at the end, and you got to give those guys credit, especially George Springer and what he was able to do in Game 7. George Springer getting that MVP, of course. Vlad Guerrero Jr. did a good job, but George Springer was phenomenal. He was phenomenal in this game, and we've seen him do it time and time again. And you know what? It's because he was a World Series champion as well with the Houston Astros. I know it wasn't legit, but at the same time, George Springer showing off that veteran in him throughout this series, and give it to guys like Shane Bieber getting the job done. I mean, it's just unreal. It's just unreal what the Toronto Blue Jays have been able to do. And they're going to the World Series, and it's going to be one hectic run to see what they do against the LA Dodgers. But I mean, honestly, this was one of the greatest ALCSs I've seen in a long time. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, there was a lot of good moments in this ALCS. It was a weird series because there was like some blowouts mixed into some of these games. There wasn't like a lot
And
of big time.
I want to correct myself here on something. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was the MVP.
Oh yeah,
And
he
with George
was
Springer.
yes.
What George Springer did was MVP worthy. I should have reworded that better. My bad. Go on.
Both could have won it and it wouldn't
Yeah.
have been like a big yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, like there were some blowouts, which sucks, but also like there were some moments, especially those last two games, just some really fun moments. Both of these teams going back and forth. It sucks for Seattle to be one win away from the World Series two times and not come through. Cal Raleigh, like you said, did what he did all season. And when Julio hits that home run to go up 3-1, you're kind of like, that's it. It kind of felt like Toronto was a little bit dead in the water. And man, I really like that pitcher they brought in, that Bizardo guy, but they just seen him too many times. And we saw it last year against the Yankees with the Guardians. They saw Clase and Smith and Gaddis too many times, and it's what happens. And
Mhm.
when you throw a 96-mile-an-hour sinker right down the middle to a future Hall of Fame caliber player, he's probably not going to miss it. And he did not miss it, and he put it in the seats. Give credit to the guys ahead of Springer for getting on. My guy Andres Jimenez with a great bunt to move him over.
Mhm.
The Blue Jays just play fundamental baseball, and they did in that game to get to the home run and then hit it. And it's
Shane
good for
Bieber didn't even have
baseball
his
to see
best
a team
game
do that.
game seven. That's the other
What's
thing
that?
too. Shane Bieber didn't even have his best game seven.
No. But,
It's
you know,
incredible.
in the playoffs, you just got to keep your team in it. And Shane did just enough to keep to keep the Blue Jays in the game long enough for them to get it to their bullpen, and they just kept pushing, and they eventually got that big swing. So yeah, Shane, give him credit for hanging on and keeping, not allowing it to get to 5 or 6 or 7. He only let it get to 3. He might have only given up 2, actually. I don't remember if he gave up the third run, but he only let it get to 3,
Hmm.
and that's huge.
Yeah. And he went through 3 and 2/3. He struck out five and had 7 hits allowed. So it wasn't his best performance by any means necessary, but like at the end of the day, the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen, I think, proved too why the Toronto Blue Jays were the best team in the American League this year. I mean, when I'm just looking through the numbers and what those guys are able to do, and once you got to Hoffman and he got those 3 strikeouts at the end
Whew.
of the game, that was just 1, 2, 3, bam. The Blue Jays proved that they're the best team in the American League. And it kind of stinks for the Seattle Mariners. I was really rooting for them to get to their first World Series. And I really liked everything they did this season. And Cal Raleigh, I don't know if we'll ever see a catcher hit 60 home runs like that ever again.
No, that
That was
was
spectacular. Spectacular.
they're a special team.
They
They have
are.
some really exciting players.
But the thing to me is like, everyone thought when the Yankees were going to get to the divisional series too, that the Blue Jays didn't stand a chance. And boy, was everybody who made that prediction wrong. And I think it goes back to the ALDS and what the Toronto Blue Jays accomplished early. They ended that series really game one
Pretty
and
much.
game two. But like game two, they let
Pretty
the
much.
Yankees get back into it a little bit, which allowed the Yankees, I think, to win game three. But really, the Blue Jays could have 3 games swept the Yankees. And it was really incredible that it got to that point. And I think the Toronto Blue Jays deserve a ton of credit for that. All right, our thoughts on the World Series now. They're going to take on the LA Dodgers. It's going to be United States versus Canada. Although Canada's in the American League, the team, Toronto Blue Jays, in the National League, of course, the LA Dodgers. But I think America, outside of Los Angeles, California, is uniting with Canada and saying we really want the Blue Jays to win this series. And the Blue Jays, to me, as I said, best team in the American League, did a terrific job this season. I'm not going to
The
argue.
Toronto Guardians
Yeah,
is
the
actually what
Toronto
we're calling
Guardians.
them.
Yes, exactly.
Bieber,
Shane Bieber,
Jimenez, Clement, Miles
Miles
Straw.
Straw,
It's the Toronto Guardians. I gotta root for
Toronto
them.
Guardians, and
Got to.
even if you include Josh Naylor in Seattle, was really like just a former Cleveland
It really
Guardian.
was just a Cleveland ALCS, yeah.
Yeah, it really was. But I think Vlad Guerrero Jr. is good. I think George Springer is good. A lot of the guys on Toronto's roster are good. Shane Bieber, I think he's going to have a better pitching game in this series than he did game seven. We'll see because it's still the Dodgers batters, but I think he will because I believe in him. But to me, I don't see any contest here. I mean, to me, game one's already over because Blake Snell's pitching. I mean, the
Yeah.
Dodgers are throwing him out. Who's going to beat this team? The Dodgers are a juggernaut, and I know a lot of folks are rooting against them. And I'm not rooting for the Dodgers either. But they have the better manager with Dave Roberts. They have Shohei Ohtani, the best two-way player we may have ever seen in baseball since Babe Ruth. And I'm dead serious about that. Like, who is stopping the Dodgers? I have the Dodgers winning this series in 5 games, but I bet it could be a sweep. And I want to give the Toronto Blue Jays credit. I think they're good enough to win a game, but it's going to be tough. It is going to be tough. The one flaw is to hope to get to the Dodgers bullpen, not giving them any offensive hope. And I think that's going to be really hard, Jake.
Yeah, I'm going to take Dodgers in 6. The only reason I'm giving them 6 is because Toronto has home field advantage. So I think maybe they could slide 1 or 2 in Toronto and make it not as ugly. But if they don't get to Snell in game 1, you're already worried. Because, like you said, they have to get to the bullpen. And I just don't know that they're going to because nobody has gotten to the bullpen. Not
Mm-hmm.
one team. And I said this before the NLCS. It was like, if you can get to the Dodgers bullpen, that's how you beat them. And then Philly didn't really do it. Milwaukee sure as heck didn't do it. And if the Blue Jays don't do it, it's over. And I know that's bad analysis, but it's also true. Like, just get to their bullpen. Don't let Snell beat you.
You can't let Snell beat you, but
I
he's
mean,
let
he's gonna
everybody
beat
beat
you,
them.
but you can't let him beat you for too long, I guess is the way to put it.
He's let everybody beat them, and I think it's going to be really hard to catch up. But as I said, I'm taking the Dodgers in 5 games. To me, home field advantage, and I think we even saw it in the ALCS. It doesn't matter. I
I
really don't
want it to
think it
matter.
matters. I
That's why
want
I'm
it to
taking them
matter
in
too, but
6.
it doesn't. To
I
me,
want the
baseball's the one
Toronto
sport it doesn't
crowd
matter.
to boo Shohei Ohtani.
They're gonna boo Shohei Ohtani.
And to
They're
make
gonna
this
boo
game
all those
matter.
guys.
You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
it's not going to matter. You're probably right. And I just want it to, because it hasn't. This whole postseason, it really hasn't. Philly had home field and that didn't matter. The Brewers had home field and it didn't matter. We had home field in Cleveland. It hasn't mattered. But I want it to matter. I want it to be like a point to actually playing the regular season. Because like in the NBA and like the NFL, home field feels so important. And for whatever reason in baseball this season, it wasn't at all.
I agree. I agree.
A
It
good point
wasn't
though out of
important,
you. I just want
but
it to matter.
it's just how baseball is. And I know we've gone way over the time limit on this segment, but I think this is
Well,
important stuff. It's the World Series. But
yeah, and I think what we were talking about pre-show a little bit, like we don't
yeah,
even know who's starting for the Blue Jays yet in
yeah, we
game 1.
don't.
And that it's the weird way of the Dodgers swept, right? So they have their
Yeah.
ace, well, one of their 5 aces available to go in game 1 with Blake Snow. Like they're rested. We were talking about it. Is it going to be Gosman? Is it going to be Scherzer? Is it going to be a bullpen game?
Why
Because
would you put a
Gosman,
bullpen game against Blake Snell? Like that's like the dumbest strategy I think you could ever think of. Now, granted, the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen is way better than the Dodgers bullpen. So, but that's not saying much. The
yeah,
Toronto Blue Jays lineup isn't nearly as good as the Los Angeles Dodgers lineup. I mean, Shohei and Freddie Freeman alone, and Manny Machado. I mean, all these guys. Not Manny Machado. Mookie Betts. I'm sorry.
Mookie Betts, yeah.
What the heck am I saying?
Formerly Manny Machado once, eventually, one
Yes,
time.
I know. I know. I know. Silly me. I'm saying wrong names tonight. I'm calling out wrong MVPs. What am I doing, Jake? It's silly old Andrew. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman,
Nothing's
Joey
changed,
Ohtani.
unfortunately. Nothing's
Dodgers
changed.
lineup is stacked. Their pitching is stacked, starting wise, not in the bullpen necessarily. I don't see anybody eating innings against this team. I just don't.
No.
Manny Machado plays for the Padres, by the way. I guess I'm just confusing California teams, because San Diego is
Padres
same
fans
place
and
as
Dodgers
Los
fans would
Angeles, right?
would certainly not like you doing that with their rivalry that they have.
I know they have a deep-rooted rivalry that has gone on for many, many years down Interstate 5. I mean, it has.
It really has.
It's gone on a while. The Padres have yet to win a World Series. The Dodgers have won plenty of them. So we'll see how this all pans out. I think it's going to be an exciting World Series. If it's anything like Game 7, as our buddy Matthias chimes back in here, I think
He
it's
just
going to
left
be
for the baseball
phenomenal.
because he doesn't care.
Yeah, like with
Well, hey, but he
baseball,
had one important line to say. And what was that?
all you need to know for baseball is Vladdy Guerrero in a Camaro. I could wear a sombrero. Dodgers in 5.
Boom. Boom. Understatement of the whole podcast.
You hear that, Toronto? We're all on the Dodgers. Go win it.
Yeah,
Prove
prove
us
us
wrong,
wrong.
Yeah.
boys.
Like literally, the United States outside of Los Angeles, California, is trying to team up with you here, Canada.
We're
We
here.
are. We're
I'm all
all
about it.
rallying around the Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, Canada.
All right, Dodgers in five. Matthias, I think, said Dodgers as well.
I'm taking them in 6 because I want home
Yep,
field to
that's right.
matter.
You said you were taking them in six earlier. Just want to reiterate that. All right, so that's our picks for baseball. All right, before we move on from baseball, I have breaking news as we're recording the podcast. Not
That's
breaking
two
news
weeks
when
out of
you're
three,
watching
by the
it.
way. We've broken news on the pod.
2 out of 3, we'll take it. Well, the podcast isn't live, so this is as we're recording the podcast, but we'll take it for what it's worth.
All counts.
Cleveland Guardians former closer Emmanuel Clase, they have reportedly blocked Clase from pitching in Venezuelan league amid the gambling investigation. So he is still some distance from pitching again, guys. Uh, it's according to Evan Drellich of The Athletic as we record this. Uh, but they've also banned him from playing in a winter league in his home country, the Dominican Republic, as well. So Venezuela might have literally been the best he could get at this point, and it looks like that's not going to be happening either. So I'm going to leave the floor open now. To me, I guess this isn't surprising. I mean, I guess it's not like the biggest baseball story in the world right now, but I mean, for the Cleveland Guardians, the impact that Clase has had since 2022 and, the Guardians proved they didn't necessarily need him the rest of 2025. But I mean, woo. And granted, who knows? I mean, I'm not too familiar with the Venezuelan leagues. I know a little bit about the Japanese leagues. I know about the Korean leagues. To me, I don't know what Venezuelan professional baseball is like, so I can't tell you if this is a big hit or miss for Class A. But obviously, Class A just getting to play baseball again, it looks like it's going to be very hard for him to ever step on a mound the way it looks in the future, playing professional baseball anywhere in the globe.
Yeah, and that was the biggest takeaway for me was the fact that he's not even going to get to pitch. So he's not going to be facing live hitters. He's not going to be able to, pitching in the like pitching a bullpen or pitching at a lab is just not the same. Like he's not going to see hitters. He's not going to have to work counts. He's not going to have to sequence his pitches against, real human beings. It's also concerning that we haven't heard anything yet. And all that we're getting is the Guardians just continuing to block him, which makes me think the Guardians know something that we don't.
Oh, they
Like
definitely
they
do.
they
They
just
have
know
to.
that he's done forever, and they just don't want to tell everybody that he's done forever. Which again, I'll miss him, but I won't miss him that much because I like Cade Smith, and we're gonna save 5 years and 50 million or whatever his contract was. So I'm sure Paul Dolan's gonna spend that in a real cool place. Put that right where it matters. Sign
The
Austin
farm.
Hedges to another contract. He
Oh
already did
yeah,
that.
that's
But
the big offseason move for 2025.
he's going to free
We
up all
all
this
know.
money. He's going to sign Matthias to a 2-year, $20 million contract to play
The
outfield
bench.
for us.
Let's
You
be
got it?
honest. Dolan would probably sign any of us off the street before he signs a Major League
That's what
Baseball
I'm
player that'll make
saying.
an impact. I
You
know.
could
I'm
give
just
me the
saying.
minimum right now. I'll go
We
there
can
and
go
wear
to the
one.
Guardians farm system for the minimum right now.
I will go wear one in the
And
box.
Dolan will consider us being more World Series contenders than Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Just saying.
Matthias, do you have anything?
Yeah.
I don't.
It
Yeah.
sucks, is what it does. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to miss him, but it sucks.
Well, I don't know anything about professional Venezuelan baseball either, so I don't know what the league is like. I don't know what kind of talent he'd be pitching there, but it's
To
definitely
me, that doesn't
interesting
matter.
news to me. The big thing with this is still the whole thing is shrouded in mystery. None of us know anything, and I think the only people that know anything are either in the Major League Baseball office or work for the Cleveland Guardians organization. I think we could leave it there. Get to college football before we wrap up the pod here. Uh, Miami and Louisville played. Louisville unranked. Miami is ranked. Miami was ranked too, but they went down. Probably going to go down the rankings as well. I know I was pretty hot about not believing in Miami like Jake thought I should, and
Yeah,
I
that's
think
my
the
bad.
game
My bad.
proved why I shouldn't believe in them.
And I forgot it's Miami of this current age and not Miami of like 2000 because they just forgot how to win. They just don't remember that they're good. My only other take on Miami is I wish they had Cam Ward this year because that team would be disgusting if they had Cam Ward this year. I'm That's all. But yeah, I missed. Carson Beck's not good anymore. At least he's. I'm not going to say that. No, I am going to say that. He transferred to Miami to be with his pretty girlfriend, and he's not playing that well. And a sucks for Miami because they probably could have got a better option, and he cost them this game with 4 interceptions.
Go ahead, Matthias.
So I don't have anything on this specific game, other than just like you made it all the way up to two and then lost to Louisville. But
Well,
like,
at home, you were playing in Miami.
well, and they did. I think that was the game where it was a big upset and they didn't storm the field. So you weren't even worth a field storming.
No, it
Like,
was in Miami.
oh, okay.
So they stormed out the field.
Yeah, they probably stormed out. But yeah, like other than that, I got a good amount to say about the rest of the games though.
Oh, absolutely. So what other games are you thinking?
I'm
Set us up.
thinking I'm thinking Ole Miss and Georgia. That was an amazing one, but I'm really looking at Texas Tech and Arizona State.
Bangers. Two bangers.
Yeah, like I seven and you lost to Arizona State. Like that's bad. Like 22 to 26 just like I don't even know the stats of it other than the score, but I'm like, really? Like in football, the top 25, the top 4, well, I mean the top 10 is usually very solid, but this year like I think it was every team in the top 25 has shifted except for number 1.
All righty.
True.
And
It's correct.
we're going to move on now to one little take I think we should just kind of add in because it was kind of big news this week. Um, and then we're going to move on to Jake. He's got some stuff on college football he wanted to wrap the show up with. That's Kurt Signetti. He is going to be staying in Bloomington. He is going to be staying in Bloomington after the Indiana Hoosiers started off undefeated and beating Oregon, kind of, I think, establishing themselves. And, I think a lot of the talk has been where is Kurt Signetti going to go after Indiana because he already turned that program around. He could be a hot name for another program. He's staying put. He's not leaving Bloomington. The Hoosiers look like they're going to be a real threat to college football for a long time. What do you guys think of that? I think it's a nice move by the Hoosiers. I think they needed to lock him in because, Penn State's open now. I mean, do you want Kurt Signetti coaching the Nittany Lions after the disaster they've been this year and will continue to be after they lose to Ohio State next week? What do you guys think of this? Kurt Signetti signing that extension and, Indiana locking in as Penn State's getting out, really.
You bring up a good point about Penn State because Florida is also open.
Florida's open too. You're right. I didn't even think about the
Auburn
Gators.
has a chance to be
Yeah.
open. Like Arkansas is open. Like not that that's a big jump from Indiana, but like there are games or there are teams that are open. There are jobs that are open that are higher than Indiana, and the Hoosiers and the Indiana University, like they did the right thing, locking him in. He is a phenomenal coach. And this is the second year in a row that he's brought in a quarterback in the transfer portal that has been perfect for what he's wanted to do. Last year they got Curtis Rourke. He was really good. This year they got Fernando Mendoza. He's been awesome. You're going to hear about him again in a couple of minutes when I do my wrap up. But this is great. This is good for college football, but this is good for Indiana too.
I think it's really good to establish the Big Ten over the SEC as well. Matthias, I know we're wrapping up on time here, but what are your thoughts?
Nothing.
All right, seems pretty straightforward. Let's move on to what Jake had to say about college football for this week. And Jake, how much time you looking at for this one?
I don't need long. I'm
All right.
calling this I actually don't have a good name for it. I'm not very creative at thinking of segment names. I'm going to call this If You Suck, You're going to want to listen to this.
All right, I'll give you 2.5. Go for it.
Perfect. If you're the Browns or the Jets or the Dolphins or anybody else who sucks, listen to this segment. You're going to want to listen to where are the quarterbacks in this draft class? Who are they playing? How are they doing? Where can you watch them next week? Fernando Mendoza, my guy, QB1, is playing at home against UCLA this weekend. So keep an eye out for that. He's probably going to be a Jet, so that sucks for him. Sucks for the Browns, but I think he's great. I'm going to preface this also. I don't think this quarterback class is great. So him being QB1 doesn't like super excite me because like he's not a Burrow, Lawrence kind of top of the first round. I think he's probably not even CJ Stroud, but like he's a good quarterback. I'm a big fan. The Oregon dude, Dante Moore, who I really want because I think he would fit Kevin Stefanski's offense so perfectly. 7 o'clock against Wisconsin. Put that on. Watch Dante Moore cook. And this Ty Simpson guy from Alabama. I'm hearing a lot about him. I don't know that I believe yet. He's playing at South Carolina. This will be a fun one to watch him play in a tough road environment. He's like not a statue, but like he's not an athlete. He's just like a good thrower of the ball. And I don't know that that works at quarterback all the time, but this dude can throw the ball. I just don't know if he's going to be like athletic enough to play in the NFL. So that's my little, if you suck, watch those three quarterbacks, pick your favorites, and draft one of them this year and hope they're not a bust. Because we need one. As a Browns fan, I'd love to have Dante Moore. I think he's great.
We don't know what Shedeur Sanders can do yet, though. Nor do we even really know what Dylan Gabriel can do yet. Do we need a quarterback, Jake?
I know what Shedeur Sanders can do. You see that?
Yeah.
Time's up. Whatever he says. I don't remember.
Dang. All right. Well, thank you for that, Jake. Any final thoughts on college football before we move on?
For Ty Simpson, just like for me, like he has a good touchdown interception ratio, he has a good yardage, but like I don't know, kind of like what you said, he's been a statue. He's been taking a lot of sacks this year as well. And like for Alabama, they kind of have the perfect molding of a QB that is a good system QB. And I see it in college. I don't know about the pros. So for the segment that I am now dubbing Jake's QB vision, yeah,
That's better than whatever I said.
that's fair. I'm not super high on him, but there is a reason why he was mentioned third on your list.
Well, there's also the possibility that he's just Mac Jones. But like pre San Francisco 49ers Mac Jones, like he's could just be Patriots Mac Jones, where he's just throw the ball to really good players and they'll make you look really good. And that is a worry with him.
Yeah.
It also says a lot, like I said, this quarterback class is not that good. And there's not a lot of standouts. So, I mean, the best quarterback in the country is a redshirt freshman. So at Ohio State. So that's kind of where we stand. Because you can't draft that kid. He's got at least another year. So like it's a little bit of an interesting. If Ty Simpson is QB3, I might wait till next year to get my quarterback. We can
All
move
right.
on. That's a good point, Matthias. Like we've seen this before with Alabama guys. Really at a lot of these big schools.
Yeah, I was going to say Ohio State, which makes
Justin
me so
Fields, Dwayne Haskins, JT Barrett.
man.
All right. With that, we're going to wrap up this edition of Raw Takes and Company. Stay tuned next week for the next edition. Stay tuned for some upcoming fun reels. We hope you enjoyed the podcast today. We'll be back next week with more. And hopefully I will be in first place. Well, I don't think I can clinch first place based on the picks we have this week, seeing how many of them are the same. But hopefully I'll be catching up to Jake or maybe Matthias and getting into second place so I'm not paying for dinner. Because right now Jake's picking and I'm paying. That's today's edition of Raw Takes and Company. Hope you guys have a great week. Enjoy the slate of games coming up. Enjoy all sports because we're all sports and all in on Raw Takes and Company. Have a good one, everybody.